What attracted you to service in the church as a priest?
I have to start with my parents. My family, we are all very active in the church growing up, and I really learned the idea of service to others and service to God. And so I think that initial foundation of where the church was really a centered place for that. And then it was just kind of as my, I guess, clearer my gifts, my abilities came, that I got encouraged by other people. Have you thought about being a priest, because you seem to be good at explaining the faith. My niece, who's now 20, I think she'll be 23 on Friday, but when I first started thinking about the priesthood, she was like 4 or 5, and she's like, "Are you going to become a priest?" And I said, "I don't know. Do you think I should be a priest?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." I'm like, "Well, why?" She says, "So you can teach me about God." So I think that was a big part, just seeing, growing up in a household where service to God and service to neighbor was how I grew up.
What is the highlight of your life of service as a priest?
I guess some people would point to things like I can celebrate Mass with the Pope in January, but I think the incident that comes to mind for me was at my last parish. Okay. At my last parish, I met this woman. She was late 60s, early 70s, and she had not been raised in the church and in the faith, and actually was raised in another denomination, married a Catholic man who died, left her a widow with children, and she was pretty young. And then she raised the kids in the faith, never really thought about it, and she heard me say something at Mass, and she realized she really wanted to become a Catholic so she could receive communion. And so she thought it'd be this long process, but she had been coming to Mass almost every day for years. And so I asked her some questions. I felt that she was what we would call catechized. She knew the faith. I mean,
Right.
And I'm like, well, I'm not going to make you go through catechesis when you already know it. And I talked to the pastor, and he agreed. And so she just had to bring me a copy of her baptismal certificate to make sure she was baptized already, or we need to do that. And she was baptized. She said, "So when could I come in?" And I said, "When you want to do it." And so we did it 2 days later at a daily Mass, and she asked a deacon to be her sponsor for confirmation, and many of the people thought she had already been Catholic, and I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts and got a box of Joe and some munchkins so that we could have a party for her after Mass, and she was just so thrilled that she could now fully participate in the Mass, receive communion and everything, and people, at daily Mass, were still like, "Oh, we thought you were a Catholic, well, welcome," and stuff like that. And so I think that was kind of like a highlight for me.
What role does daily prayer serve for you as a priest?
It's foundational for me. I can't really do what I do without prayer. I mean, yeah, I guess I could, come here, talk to you, come talk to students. I could go through all the motions, but I think people would sense that. I mean, I know I've met priests who, for whatever. Okay. I've just encountered priests in my own life who, for whatever reason, not wanting to judge them, but it became clear that they were just kind of going through the motions. And when you talk to them, they're not praying because they think they've gotten too busy with things. And I don't want to be like that. I want a person, when they come to me, whether in good times or in bad, that they encounter Christ. And for them to encounter Christ, see the joy that Christ brings me, I have to have that relationship with Christ. So it means I have to make my prayer life a priority so that I can serve.
What is the most difficult thing about being a priest?
I think at times loneliness. Not just because we can't marry or anything like that. I think it's more with the shortage of priests. We're more often living alone, and even the few times, and actually this is the first time I've been living alone as a priest. And the first 9 years I always lived with at least one other priest. But even in some of those places, we would get so busy because of the shortage of priests that we didn't really even see each other. Like the last parish I lived at, we basically all lived, it was one house, but the house was divided into 3 apartments, so I had my own kitchen and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it quite literally could go days of just like only seeing them in passing. And that can become a little lonely at times. And also I think our lives can be a little bit different than other people, and so they don't always it's sometimes hard to talk about. There are things that we can't talk about because of the nature of what we do, but people don't always have the framework of like, what's that like?
What is the experience of celebrating the Eucharist like for you?
It's amazing. It is certainly the highlight of my life as a priest.
What is the experience of celebrating the sacrament of penitence and reconciliation, or the experience witnessing the sacrament of marriage like for you?
Reconciliation or penance or confession has so many names. It's an incredibly humbling thing. I mean, of course, you get some people who come in kind of routinely, rattle off their list. But I would say, by and far, most people, they take it very seriously when they move, and to see their humility of recognizing their need for God, and how and when they're talking about, in a sense, their failure, they're also talking about how much they love God and how sorry they are that they disappointed them, disappointed God by not living up to what He's asked them to live up to. And to me, that's just so humbling and moving, and to again now be, in a sense, the instrument of God of that embrace that Christ offers us to be reconciled and say, I don't want you to live with the burden of your sins anymore. Come to me, as it says, all you who are burdened and find life, or laden and find life burdensome, I will give you rest, and that I can be part of that. Marriage is hard. Not only because, I hate to say it, a lot of our couples today don't take it seriously. And it's sad. Some people there have been some talk saying that the real vocation crisis in the church is really in marriage and not in the priesthood. Because a lot of young people aren't getting married, they're just living together. But even a lot who do seek to get married, they seem to always approach it like, Jesus gives us those. How can we get that message out that this is a beautiful thing, and to make people really accept it as beautiful?
Where do you find your strongest support for your vocation?
I have to start again from the beginning, my family, just as it was in my family, and their witness of service and love of God and love of neighbor was so influential to me coming to this point in my life. There's still a big source of support with that. But then also I have some good friends who are priests. And there's...
What do you think people should know about the life of a priest that they may not be aware of?
Monsignor Luigi Gussani, the priest that I admire, he's passed away. He started this movement in the church that he didn't want to start. But he once said, to be good priests, you first need to be good men. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to laugh, laugh. And I think a lot of people still kind of think that we're not normal. And I think that's what they need to know. And they're like, yeah, there are days in which I have a good day, bad days. Sometimes I have a need to, cry or vent or just kind of be sad about something. And also to be happy and joyful. And I think that's part of my ministry here at the high school. So when kids see that, I have a dog, I can't believe how many times people ask me, you have a dog? Or when they hear I ride a motorcycle, or this summer I took up the ukulele, trying to teach myself how to play the ukulele. I think that teaches, the kids are starting to experience, I'm just a human being, getting older than you all are, but I'm just a person who has the same kind of things. And I think that's important because, well, of course Jesus is God, but he also took on our human nature. And I think there sometimes is a tendency, well, Jesus doesn't really understand me, but he really does. He knows our struggles, our joys, what gets on our nerves, and things like that. And if people can experience that through me, then maybe they can really have that personal encounter with Christ and enter into that personal relationship with him.
And lastly, do you envision any changes being made to the priesthood in the future? If yes, what do you think they will be?
First, they're always talking about things. Probably the only possible change I really see is the possibility of admitting married men into the priesthood. The celibacy is a discipline. It's not a teaching of Christ. I mean, it is something that has not always been part of the church's teaching. I don't think it would be as easy as most people think, because there's a reason why you don't see many priests on the Fortune 500 list, and we don't make a lot of money, and I'm not looking to make a lot of money. But if I was now married and had children, my own children, I would obviously need to be making more than I make now. And I don't know if the church, the parishes, can afford that. And so then do I have to get a part-time job? And then what does that do to the ministry? I mean, I see the celibacy as giving me the freedom to truly embrace my spiritual bride, which is the church, which is all the people in the church.
Okay, my name is Ulysses Miranda Oinez. Hyphen is a little bit line. Okay, Candy, if you come to the, I will answer the question.
Okay, Grandma. Okay, Grandma. Grandma, what is your name?
Pinch me. I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay. Grandma. What's your name?
She don't want me to tell the truth. I don't tell the truth this time.
Candida Ortiz Miranda.
Okay, how old are you both?
I'm 82 years old.
Okay, Grandma, how old's Grandpa?
Grandpa is 88.
How long have you been married to each other?
How
How long have you been married to each other?
Oh, 60, no,
What?
64 years old.
What kind?
Okay.
Estamos de...
I'm gonna... I don't know. I got out of here.
No.
Grandpa.
It's a
No, okay.
escuela.
Okay. I'm gonna start my whole story between me and my wife, okay? We first met. Long ask question because I whipped you. Okay, I met my wife. She was in grammar school. I was already in high school. I think was. Okay, you follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, I was already in high school, she was in grammar school. I used to go to grammar school because all these girls were together, in different buildings, but they were together. In other words, we used the same backyard because they were all the three. school they were together. Anyway, I used to go to the grammar school to city girls or I got prima, fooling around. Then I went to the I was a history class or what kind of history, and they got some fossils in the table. Very nice fossil. And the teacher no was there. So me and my friend we started taking fossils, I took one and put it in my pocket. And from there on, my wife told me I'm a thief. And every time he told me you a thief, you stole something from the classroom. That's joking. That's the way it was. Now, what else you want to know?
How long did you wait to get married?
How what?
¿Cuánto tardaste en casarnos?
¿Cuánto qué?
¿Cuánto tardaste en casarnos?
¿Cuántos años tengo casado? I don't know.
No, ¿cuánto te tardaste desde que nos conocimos hasta que nos casamos?
Oh, I don't know, you know.
You can answer, Grandma.
I was 15.
Yeah, some
And
16,
we married when
because I was in high school, I graduated from high school, and then they draft me. But I want to go to college. I was in college already.
And I was 18.
I got business college. And then
I was 13.
we was, I was, fooling around with the kids, and then here and there we go to the
13
to the park, La Plaza, with my bunch of friends, and we see the girls going around in circle and all that. Finally, I met her. For some reason, I don't know, we met her someplace, and then after that, well, can you tell?
6 years.
Can you tell? Can you tell?
What tell what?
The question, Grandma, how long did you wait to get married?
I was
6 years. We
6
both
years.
are Catholic, so that's our religion. And you marry if you own the religion. We were Catholic. My priest was Father de la Calle. That was the name, de la Calle. In a Catholic cathedral in Ponce, Puerto Rico. I was too young,
Okay.
and I was not thinking of children at all.
Okay.
I never thought, that won't happen, I was young, too young.
Now that you have children,
Uh-huh.
how have they contributed to your marriage?
Oh, they contributed a lot, especially my husband, that I thought that he was having such a good father. And
What's your
was
favorite
great.
thing about being married?
Well, for one thing, back together to the girl I love, and the old man you want to. No, we have a very, very happy family. Even so that we went, I was overseas, I come back, I go and come back. But most of the time when I make my rank, I take my kid with me to Europe, to Washington State, way up there. And did they went to Georgia? No. Who went to Georgia? All of them? You went?
Yeah, when they
No.
were little.
Grandma,
I was in
what's
Pennsylvania,
what's your favorite part about being married?
Well, being with my husband, I want to be with him all the time, and my children, the family, and he has been a very, very good husband, a perfect father. I think better than a mother, because I was good, but Daddy was, oh my Lord, he was crazy for the kids. He loved the kids so much. He saw home, the kids were with him. Next to him, he down the floor with him, with them, was
What's that kind?
the way you were with
Huh?
the way you were with the kids. Como te
The
Part
only
of
thing
marriage.
difficult in my marriage that I'm talking about,
Uh-huh.
everything was okay. The only thing that my job, I stayed too much time away from my family. Because even so, I was in Oklahoma, and I was in Germany also. When I was married, I was going to the field most of the time. For a week, for 2 weeks, for almost a month. Because I had to go to the field to fire the rockets, and to fire this, and you know, that's the way it was. That's the only thing I don't like. But every time I come home, we celebrate, we do this and we do that. In Germany, mostly every week, we have some kind of fest. They call it fest. And she was born there. We will go to the Oktoberfest. We go to the Rhine-Main River to make a picnic. So that was a beautiful, beautiful place when I was able to go. Then the army take always time going here and there.
What-
Mama stay alone.
What about you, Grandma? The most difficult part?
Well, being away from my husband, but everything, my marriage, everything was so fine. We had no difficulties, no problems. Daddy never went out, not even one time.
Wow.
Well,
Never.
Never was.
Went out. Like all the men, you know, they say Fridays we go out. No, we always go with us and all with the children, all the time. So my marriage was such a out of the world.
When I was married, and I had to go back to Panama. For Panama, I think they gave me a leave or something to go back to see my wife and all that. And I come back to Panama, and from Panama I leave from Korea War. In Korea War, we ride, bam, 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 bam. When I cook, I come back from Korea, I lie, of course. I come back and I went to New York, Camp Kilmer. I stayed in Camp Kilmer for about a week or so. I told my wife what I was and so forth, and they said they're gonna get me. And Mr. Ugarte came in with all the people to see me, but they couldn't find me because they didn't know me. They never seen me before. But as soon as I saw her, I know he was the one that was looking for me. But you know, I got a good memory. I never seen her, but I can, you know, I can feel that other way because we're looking. And now he was a Latino. And then finally they bring all these girls. Say, oh, here it is. And then we get together and we went to the Bronx. I tell you for the truth. And then from there we went back to Puerto Rico. They took me to Puerto Rico. Back home, you know. From Puerto Rico, they asked me if I want to re-enlist or stay. I said no. But Mama asked me how much money they're gonna get. I told him. And my wife said, yeah, go ahead, really. They gave me a lot of money. So for that time, a lot of money. It was $500.
No, 600.
Grandma, do you have any